All right, so let's test it out now. So we're gonna prime the motors. We're gonna then launch it. So I'm checking out a budget-friendly drone here. It's called the 4DRC F13 Rambler. Quite a rambler of a name, quite a long title, but I will have it linked below. This is a budget-friendly drone with an awesome build quality and a lot of cool things going on inside here. So first things first, you get this nice bag built extremely well. It does come with a few different options to carry it. So more of a bag design and then more of a handle. And extremely well built. I really do like the bag. And then as you open it up, you get a bunch of different items here. So the drone itself is built extremely well. I really do like the build quality of this. It feels meaty, it feels heavy, it feels sturdy. Even though it's quite a small drone, it just feels nice and sturdy. So that's the profile of the drone there, 4DRC. You can see when I came in the box, this section here is covered, but that's actually where you put the obstacle avoidance sensor, which is actually like a camera that basically checks out for any obstacles in the environment. It's called Hawkeye, and you can just slot it on top. It will just click into place like so, and now that will activate when you power on the drone. Everything feels nice about the unit. Everything down to the battery feels extremely nice, and the kit that I got actually does come with 2 batteries like so. So you can see on here Rambler F13, nice build quality to the batteries, and then the controller here, which comes pretty standard. You've got a few different ports in here. So we've got USB-C on top, and that's how you connect it up to your phone, and then you've got the micro USB on the side here. So nice build, bunch of buttons on here. It does flip up and display a little screen which comes up with some important information, and then that's where you mount your phone on top there. So overall, really nice build quality. You get a lot in the kit. Like I said, I've got the 2 battery kit here, and then in this little section down here, this is where it comes with a bunch of other like cables. So I've got a few connect cables. These can connect up to the phone. So there's a few options there. This is the one that I would be using, the USB-C to the lightning adapter for my iPhone. A few charging cables, extra propellers, and you get the manual as well. So you do get a fair bit in this kit, and yeah, really nicely packaged. So I'll show you how to connect this up. This is something that took a little bit of troubleshooting, but once I figured it out, it's a relatively easy process. Basically, power on the drone by pressing and holding the battery on the back there. It will power on, do its little boot up sequence, make a few noises, and it will have a bunch of flashing lights. So you want to set it down on a stationary flat table. And then what we want to do is we want to power on the controller by pressing and holding. The light will start flashing. You can actually hear the drone connect. You can hear it kind of make a noise, and that's where it's trying to seek the connection with the controller. And then from there, you get your phone out, slot it in on the top section. It's actually quite a decent clamping system. I can leave my phone in its case. I've plugged in the USB-C on the back here, and then I've got the lightning connection here that's going to plug straight into my phone. You kind of just turn it on. It will pop up on the phone saying, trust this computer. So that's kind of the prompt you're waiting for. You trust it, put in your passcode, and then you just let it do its thing for a little bit. Make sure that it's connected. The drone's light on the back should be solid red, which they've just gone to. It's just beeped. And now we've got solid red lights on the back, ready to go. And then you launch up the application, which is called 4DRC Pro. Let that connect up, do its thing. It's in the detection phase. And then the few little steps you can do is, so this little button here, you want to press and hold this button here. That will put it into the pairing kind of mode there. And then you can press the GPS button over here. So we've got the little calibration setup, which I haven't done in such a long time. But you just spin the drone basically, spin, 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 and then you flip it up this way. And there's prompts on the screen telling me what to do here. And you get little beeps to tell you when you've done it. So that's the calibration finished. And there we go. And now it's connected up to the phone system here. I'm getting a video feed. And then from there, all I have to do is pull the sticks down and out to the side, and that will then prompt the motors. But I believe I've still got to calibrate one more step. So press both the buttons down the bottom, they will do the calibration. And then once it's ready to go, you should be able to just pull it down into the center. There we go. So I just had to press the button again to put it into the indoor model, which seemed to be one of the buttons that I pressed there. Just because we're going to test it inside first, see how it operates inside, just with a very brief flight, and then I'm going to take it outside and see how it goes. All right, so let's test it out now. So we're going to prime the motors. We're going to then launch it. Not good. Well, we know it flies. I'm going to take it outside and see how that goes. Let's try this. So we'll prime it. After that little crash, let's see how it goes. Great, it's just drifting off to one side. All right, power down, buddy. All right, I think I need to pull it this way as I launch it. There we go. Definitely drifts a little bit. I think I need to be in an open area. All right, so now I'm in the GPS mode, which you can kind of see up here. It says GPS model, GPS signal is normal. We can see I've got some satellites connected here. When I was at home, it was in the indoor mode. You saw it took a bit of a tumble, but let's just see as I launch it how it goes at hovering and holding its position. So the way to activate the drone, down like that to prime the motors, and then you just lift it up like so. Okay, so it's definitely holding its position a lot better now in this GPS mode. It's changing altitude a little bit. It's hard to see. Let me just move it here. So if I just have it sitting here for you, you can see that's me not putting any sort of input in. I'll just leave it there, and you can see it kind of just moves around a little bit, but it seems to hold its position relatively well. If I start moving forward, you can see it's actually quite stable. It's starting to increase altitude on its own, but overall it seems to hold its position pretty well actually in this GPS mode. All right, so let's just launch it again and just see how it holds itself. It seems to do a pretty good job once it's in the air. You can see just there, a little bit of a weird kind of jump up, but overall it holds its position really well when it is hovering. All right, so I'm just going to do a few more little tests here, just see how it performs. I feel that it's a lot more stable in this kind of an open area. So you see once it launches, it tries to find itself a bit. Altitude does change. That's me kind of putting some inputs in there to have some control over it. But you see once I've got it set up and once it's hovering, it does a pretty awesome job really. For the price point here, for what you're actually paying for this drone, it does a great job of holding its position. And the flight experience, so let me just kind of move around a little bit. It is nicely, like, it's responsive. It's pretty good when it comes to the input kind of delays. There aren't really any. It definitely feels a little different to what I'm used to, but overall feels quite nice. Battery is actually running pretty low, so battery life I would say is a little bit less than I would expect, but you do get the 2 batteries. But yeah, it's just nice to see a relatively cheap drone, something that you can fly indoors if you have a larger house, and something for a bit of fun, but also great for this kind of environment here when you're out and about. And yeah, you just want to have a bit of fun with maybe your first drone and you just kind of want to see what it's like to fly a drone for the first time. This is a pretty awesome starting point really. And also the drone itself is sturdy. Like, it took a few hits and yeah, no issues. The drone itself is built really nicely. It's sturdy and it is overall a pretty reliable experience. I will say it does drift a fair bit. Battery life isn't phenomenal, and just a little bit of delay in the sense of like when you're putting in inputs, it just seems a little more sluggish than maybe I'm used to. The input, there's no input delay itself, but just when you're like increasing in altitude, it just seems to be a bit slower than usual, than what I'm used to. You can go into different modes and whatnot, but just the default mode takes a little bit of getting used to if you're used to any other drone, which is completely fine. But in terms of like a toy kind of drone or like a beginner drone, something to test inside and to maybe fly just around the house locally, wherever it may be, this is going to do the job. It's more so if you want like huge flights and an amazing camera, awesome battery life, all that kind of stuff. This is not the one for you, but just for some general kind of stuff, it's great. All right, so we're going to do you can see it does hold its position quite nicely once it's actually up in the air doing its thing. But you can see like this is me accelerating forward, and there is a tiny bit of delay on the release. You can see it kind of drifts a little bit, flows a little bit, whatever you want to call it, which is fine. It's just getting used to that. But I do find that overall, the input, the control, the experience is great. Again, you're not getting this drone for it to be a camera drone or a long-range drone or anything like that. Battery life, again, is not phenomenal on it. Batteries seem to drain pretty quickly. But if you get a few batteries, again, it's a nice little drone to take out here and there, like just to a local park or to fly locally, just to have a go at actually flying a drone if you've never owned one before. For the price point, it's pretty decent here. You can see it is relatively responsive, holds itself nicely in the air. It does handle very well. Turning, again, you can see nice and slow, and that's just something to get used to. But yeah, I'm really impressed with it so far. No major issues with it. I'm pretty happy with how it actually does perform overall. So let's just kind of turn around a little bit. just show you how it can handle in a tight little gap like so. Bring it back to us. You can see it is pretty responsive, right? It's a fun little toy drone, and it does exactly what you want a drone to do at this price point. It is a bit of fun to take out and fly around. Anyway, check it out. There will be links below. And yeah, I'll talk to you very soon, guys. Enjoy.